Have you ever wondered what connects an ancient, hand-woven basket to a futuristic 3D printed shoe? Well, there's a secret thread connecting them, and today we're going to pull on it. We're diving into the incredible history of how we make things, a story that starts with the wisdom in our hands and leads all the way to artificial intelligence. Let's get right into it.
That idea of embodied knowledge, that's everything. Long before there was any software, before there were factories, we had craft. And this wasn't just, a hobby. It was a physical library of solutions, literally passed down from one hand to another, over and over. This is the real soul of design, from a time before we even had a word for it.
So let's just reframe how we think about craft for a minute. It's not just about making pretty things. You got to think of it as humanity's very first research and development department, a global, centuries-long experiment where materials, tools, and just plain human needs all collided to create some truly brilliant solutions.
So let's start right there, with that ancient wisdom. We're about to see how everyday objects were packed with a kind of design intelligence that, honestly, modern engineers would kill for, and it was all created without a single computer or line of code.
Just take a simple piece of cloth. It seems so basic, right? But traditional textiles were actually multitasking geniuses, solving 3 problems all at once. The pattern? That could be your ID card. The structure, the weave itself, that was pure material science. And the function was a perfect solution to a real-world problem. It's an absolute masterclass in doing more with less.
And this way of thinking goes way deeper than just patterns. Check out the kanji varam sari. It's funny, we talk about modular design and the right to repair like they're brand new ideas for our smartphones, but this technique is hundreds of years old. The expensive, intricate borders were woven separately, so if the main part of the sari ripped, you could salvage the borders and reuse them. It's just an incredibly clever and sustainable system way ahead of its time.
Okay, so then everything changes. The Industrial Revolution hits, and suddenly the big question isn't just what to make, but how you could possibly make it for millions of people. And this sparked a huge, passionate debate about the very soul of the things we live with.
And 2 major camps basically formed. In one corner, you had the arts and crafts movement, who looked at machines and saw the enemy of beauty, of skill, of humanity. But in the other corner, you had groups like the Bauhaus, who saw machines as a tool for freedom, a way to finally bring great design to everyone, not just the super rich.
So, who was right? Well, the best answer might just be this chair. The Eames Lounge chair is the perfect bridge between those 2 worlds. Charles and Ray Eames totally embraced industrial tools like molded plywood, but they used that technology to make something that feels incredibly warm, comfortable, and human. They proved it didn't have to be a fight between the hand and the machine. It could be a beautiful partnership.
Now, let's hit the fast-forward button. We've gone from hands to factories, and now we land in the age of digital fabrication. And this leap, it's not just about being faster, it's about creating shapes and structures that were literally impossible to make before. It's like we've been given a whole new language to design with.
And if there's one thing you need to understand about this new era, it's this: complexity is free. Think about it. In the old world, making something complicated cost more time and more money. But with a 3D printer, an intricate organic lattice costs exactly the same to print as a plain old solid block. That one idea just flips the entire economics of design on its head.
But look, digital fabrication isn't some magic wand. It's really a toolkit, and you have to know which tool to grab for the right job. 3D printing is additive. It builds layer by layer, which is perfect for crazy internal shapes. A CNC mill is subtractive. It carves away from a solid block, which is how you get incredible strength. And laser cutters? They're your go-to for super precise cuts on flat sheets. Each one opens up a completely different universe of possibilities.
Okay, so theory is great, but what does this new toolkit actually let us build in the real world? Let's look at 3 amazing examples that honestly feel like they're pulled straight from the future.
So here was the problem. Japan's incredible Shinkansen bullet trains were so fast that when they burst out of a tunnel, they created this massive sonic boom that would rattle windows for miles. So, how do you fix that without slowing the whole system down?
Amazingly, the answer wasn't in some dense engineering textbook. It was in nature. Turns out the lead engineer was a big-time bird watcher, and he realized the kingfisher solves this exact same physics problem every time it dives into water without making a splash. So, using powerful computer simulations, the team was able to digitally mimic the shape of the kingfisher's beak for the nose of the train.
And the results? They were just stunning. Not only was the noise problem completely gone, but the new design was so aerodynamic that the train could go 10% faster while using 15% less electricity. It was a win-win-win, all by using technology to learn a lesson from a bird.
Okay, next up, sneakers. For our entire lives, we've bought shoes designed for some imaginary average foot. But what if a shoe could be perfectly, precisely tuned for your body, your weight, the way you run? Well, that is exactly the idea behind the Adidas Handcraft 4D. They 3D print the shoe's midsole out of a liquid resin, and by doing that, they can control the density of the internal structure at any point. That means you can have one single piece of material that's super soft and cushiony right under your heel, but firm and supportive under your arch. This isn't just a custom shoe, it's the dawn of true mass customization.
And for our last case study, let's think bigger. I mean, way bigger. Construction is famously slow, it's expensive, it's hard to change. So, what happens if you point these new digital tools at one of the biggest challenges we have? Housing.
This is the radical idea behind WikiHouse. It's an open-source construction set. You download the blueprints for free, take the files to any local workshop that has a big CNC router, and it cuts all the pieces out of plywood. Then the parts slot together like a massive puzzle. We're talking about a system where a couple of people can put up the frame of a small house in about a day. It's basically taking the power to build away from huge corporations and giving it back to people and communities.
So, after all that, where does this leave us? We've seen the deep, intuitive wisdom of craft, and we've seen the mind-bending power of these new digital tools. It's pretty clear that the future isn't about choosing one over the other. It's about a new synthesis. It's about combining the best of both of those worlds.
And that brings us to a really fascinating and kind of tricky new question. In this new world of downloadable files and open-source communities, what does being a designer even mean? If you download a design, have it cut out locally, and then you tweak it to make it your own, who's the author? Is it the person who wrote the original code, the community that improved it online, or is it you? The lines are getting blurrier every day, and figuring that out might just be the most exciting design challenge of our lifetime. Thanks for exploring this with me.